Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio. So today, I'm here for a little bit of a rant about market price. You see, for those of you that don't know, I spent about 15 years teaching business professionally, running business departments in A-level colleges, etc., etc. I think when it comes to business, I can rightly claim to know my stuff, what with the relevant postgraduate qualifications, decade and a half experience of teaching, things of that nature. I'm not just coming out going, I know business, I'm going, hey, here are my credentials, I've spent 15 years, or actually a bit more than that to be fair, studying and teaching business. And I keep seeing people in the Pokémon trading card game, and other card games to be fair, throwing around the term market price. And generally speaking, when they use the term market price, what they are actually doing is they're using it as a lazy crutch to rip people off, to charge above what they should be charging. So I figured, well, let's make a video explaining what market price actually means. Now, if you Google it, you're going to end up over at Investopedia. That is the top result you're going to find. And it defines it as the current price at which an asset or service can be bought or sold. The market price of an asset or service is determined by the forces of supply and demand. The price at which quantity supplied equals quantity demanded is the market price. I.e., when you have as much out as people want to buy, that is when you determine the market price. Now, generally speaking, when people talk about market price, they look at only the first part of the statement there. The market price is a current price at which an asset or service can be bought or sold. And then they head on over to eBay and they go, right, well, I've gone over to eBay and I've seen that the Hidden Fates Elite Trainer Box is currently selling for far above market price. I've gone and I've had a little bit of a search and I've sorted it by sold items, and I have seen that the last 3 sold for 80, 100 and somewhere around 100. Therefore, the market price is £100. Someone sold it for 100. The market price is £100. And I hate to say it to you, ladies and gentlemen, that ain't how you use market price. That's not how it works. Now, I want to direct you to the second part, or really the third part of the statement. The price at which quantity supplied equals quantity demanded is the market price. I.e., at the moment, what we're in is a situation where stock is coming all over the place. We're not at the end of supply. And that's the thing to remember about these Pokemon products, like these Hidden Fates Elite Trainer Boxes. We aren't at the end of supply yet. They are still being made. They are still being supplied. The thing is, if we go to out-of-stock products, out-of-print products, things that are near impossible to get hold of, yeah, it's an absolute free-for-all. At that point, we can actually let the forces of supply and demand affect the market price. And the fact of the matter is, let's take a set like Call of Legends. I love Call of Legends. Call of Legends is a brilliant set. But the fact of the matter is, and we've mentioned this in a couple of videos lately, Call of Legends sold very, very poorly, and people generally haven't kept them sealed. Which means that the amount of booster boxes out there for Call of Legends are actually very, very low. The amount of Call of Legends booster boxes out there are frankly, there just aren't many out there. So at this stage, because new supply isn't coming out, and because supply is very, very low, we actually do have to then turn around and look at the forces, the market forces, look at supply and demand and all of that, and take a little bit of a look as to how much they're selling for. And that tends to be somewhere in the region of $10,000. I can't actually find a current listing at the moment. No one seems to be selling one, but about $10,000 is about right. Yes, when that launched, it was about 100 quid. But as it stands at the moment, you're going to pay about $10,000 for a booster box of Call of Legends. This is where market price comes in properly, because what you've got is essentially 1 or 2 of them out there, and essentially we determine the market price by, you've got, say, 2 Call of Legends booster boxes that are out there for sale. Whatever people are willing to pay, that the seller is willing to accept, that is market price. That is a price at which supply equals demand. That is not what we've got with newer sets like Hidden Fates. If we look at Hidden Fates, I can show you that eBay listing and go, right, they should be £100. Yeah, sure, one of them sold for 80 quid, but actually they should be £100. Except last week, Argos, a lovely store over here, it used to be a catalogue store, it's now all online, but essentially you can go and buy a whole bunch of Pokemon stuff out there. They've got Hidden Fates, which is for sale for £52.50. Now, yes, it did sell out moderately quickly, and maybe it comes back into stock, maybe it doesn't. But the fact of the matter is that we are about a week away from a major UK retailer selling thousands and thousands of these boxes for £52.50. So if a major retailer has gone and sold thousands and thousands of these boxes for £52.50, how can you possibly tell me the market price is £100? It doesn't work. If the market price was £100, the price everywhere would be £100, but it's not. Sure, you can go on eBay and pay the resale value for £100 when these shops don't currently have them in stock, but the fact of the matter is that they're not £100 products if you go to places like Argos. I went to my local game store, Mad for Miniatures, down in Cornwall, and I bought one for £52.50. And I wouldn't have been able to buy one for £52.50 if the quote-unquote market price was £100. You see, at the moment, you can't use a phrase like market price for a product which is still in stock, because we don't have a market price. What we actually have is a whole bunch of different prices. You've essentially got 3 different categories of price for these sought-after products. You've got the nice shops, shops like Mad for Miniatures, shops like Argos, who are just selling it for recommended retail price, which is £52.50. You've got the shops that are taking advantage of you, that are generally selling for 70, 80 quid, somewhere in that regard. Like I've said, not every shop that sells above RRP is taking advantage. Some have had increased costs, etc. that they need to deal with. My advice to you is always to just ask the shop in question, and you're going to get one of 2 answers. If the answer you get is, I'm really sorry I've had to raise a price because of this cost, this cost, this cost, what you've got is essentially a nice shop that has had to raise the price for legitimate reasons. If the answer you get is market price, they are basically saying we're charging more because we think we can get you to pay it. Gutted. Those are the shops I'm not generally in favour of. So that is why market price just doesn't work for a product like this, because there is no market price. If you've got an out-of-stock product which has basically been out of print for a long time, that is a stage at which you have to let the market do its thing. That is a stage at which supply and demand really starts kicking in. You've got a limited amount of sellers, a limited amount of buyers, and between themselves, they will figure out what the price should be. Or, to put it another way, to go back to the Investopedia definition, the price at which quantity supplied equals quantity demanded is the market price. I.e., if there are only 2 booster boxes available, and it's just an example, there might be more, if there are only 2 available, there is a price at which all other sellers drop out, and only 2 people are remaining, a price at which everyone else has been priced out, and only 2 people still want to buy. That is the market price for a box of Call of Legends. I'm hoping at this stage you can all see why this doesn't apply to newer sets like Hidden Fates, because you've got the RRP, and make no mistake about it, these are still available at RRP. New stock is being released pretty regularly. I know it's not always easy, I know not everyone always finds them, but there is stock out there at RRP, and it does keep coming back. You've got the shops that are slightly overcharging, and then you've got the scalpers that are trying to really rip you off over on eBay. But the fact of the matter is, if we actually had an actual market price, then the shops and eBay and everybody else would all be selling for the same amount. If you want a great example of market price, go and look at petrol or gas or fuel, call it what you will, depending on what country you're in. If you go to the local petrol station, gas station, what you will find is there might be 6 in your local town, and they are all within a penny or two of each other. The price is generally about the same. And when one raises their price, they all raise their price. When one lowers their price, they all lower their price. If one raises their price and the others don't follow, no one goes to that one, and then they lower their price back down again. That is an example of market price working in the real world. Yes, I know petrol or gas and Pokemon cards are not the same thing, but generally speaking, older Pokemon sets that are completely out of print, then we can start talking about market price, because you've got limited sellers, limited buyers. The market will figure out the true value of those products, and the value will be whatever the seller is willing to sell at and the buyer is willing to buy at when they actually come to an agreement. For newer sets, when you've got prices all over the place and a bunch of people still selling at RRP, market price falls down. Because the fact of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, there is a quote-unquote market price for Pokemon cards. It's RRP. And Pokemon have come out and said they are going to keep reprinting because they don't want us essentially paying above RRP. Now, Pokemon came out and just said, we're going to increase supply. Digimon or Bandai have actually been way more explicit here. Bandai have literally come out and said, we are going to make sure that we print enough so that you can buy at RRP, at recommended retail price, which I thought was very, very cool. Pokemon haven't been quite that explicit, but it's clear what they meant from their statement. They are trying to make sure that we're buying at RRP. That is the market price. So the next time somebody tries selling you a product above RRP for an imprint set, do make sure you tell them. And if you want a great example of this, head on over to game.co.uk. It's a British website. They've had Hidden Fates tins which have come into stock recently. And sure, they have now sold out, but they were being sold at retail price. I think I checked 3 days in a row and they were in stock. These tins selling for £20.99. Hidden Fates tins, which I have been told for the past 18 months are out of print and the market price is 30-40 quid a tin, blah, blah, blah. Game came out and just sold them for £20.99 and they were in stock for like 3 solid days. Sure, they sold out eventually. Most Pokemon stuff sells out eventually, but if the market price was really double RRP, we wouldn't have had a major retailer selling these tins at RRP and staying in stock for 3 days straight. There we go. I kind of gave up teaching business recently, at least I hope I have. I didn't want to go back really, I prefer doing this. But I thought it was time for a little bit of a business lesson. And basically, market price doesn't apply when we have firstly, a recommended retail price, and secondly, a product where stock is still being released when there is a recommended retail price, and people telling you the market price is blah, blah, blah. If they're talking about modern imprint sets, frankly, they're using the phrase wrong. There we go. But now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what you think about all of this. Did you pick up any of those tins over at Games? How have your experience been? Have you been finding product a little bit easier to find lately? Because I actually have. Let me know in the comment section. Go nuts. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at The Wasi, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.